Well, hello, YouTube. It is RL coming to you from my channel. Once again, I have another topic to talk about today. I will be talking about the Montreal Canadiens, the Habs, and what is wrong with them. And there is a lot to talk about, trust me, and it's because there's lots wrong with them. That's for sure. So, it's going to be a little controversial because I am not going to mess around. I am going to get to the heart of the issues. I'm going to say my opinion, and it may not be popular, and that's fine, but I will say it anyways. And I've noticed a lot of people online talking about the Habs, and I don't think they even come close to even expressing what's really wrong with this team. It's not just about the coach. It's not about the line changes. It's not about, just injuries. There's way more to it than that. So I'm going to get to it. Like, subscribe. If you do, send a comment. Just keep it civil. I've been a Habs fan for a long time, originally from Montreal, moved to Toronto back in 2002. I'm not going to be giving up my love for the Habs anytime soon, but they aren't a very good team, let's be honest. I'm not going to be bashing and insults and trying to cause controversy because I'm not about that. I'm about trying to bring people together and trying to find a connection and try to find some way to unite everybody if possible. And it's probably not going to happen, but I'm going to try anyways. So the Montreal Canadiens are having a terrible season this year. All the injuries and everything as well. It sounds like an excuse, but it is part of the reason why they're having a terrible season this year. But there's way more to it than that. So they've been a very average team for the last number of years. Well, a long time actually. They've been had ups and downs. They haven't made the playoffs since 2017. They are floundering. I mean, they usually start off very strong, but then they trail off, and then they just don't even make playoffs the last couple of years now. And it's not really about the trades it's just the organization, the mindset that I feel is the issue with the Habs. So I'm gonna have to go back in time to discuss what is wrong with this team and how it started. So to do that, I'm gonna have to go back a number of decades to the 1970s, actually the late 70s. So when Molson bought the team in 1978, they decided that they were not going to hire Scotty Bowman to be the next GM of the Montreal Canadiens. They hired Irving Grunman, and he was basically a lackey. He was basically someone who knew nothing about hockey, and they just wanted control and have him do what they felt would benefit the Habs for their own profits to sell beer. They didn't really want the Montreal Canadiens to do anything controversial, like get rid of their star players to get new star players, in the future. That's what Scotty Bowman would have done. He would have done what Sam Pollock did for years, where he would, trade away aging stars to get high draft picks and get new stars, new young stars. Like that's how they got Guy Lafleur. I'm not going to go into detail because I don't have it all in front of me, but that's basically the way the Montreal Canadiens operated in the 1950s and 60s and 70s when they were a dynasty. The 1950s dynasty became the 1960s dynasty. And the 1960s dynasty became the 1970s dynasty. So without those dynasties leading into each other and getting rid of the older stars and acquiring young talent through drafts, they wouldn't have had the dynasty in the 1970s. So why am I talking about the Montreal Canadiens in the 1979-78 era? Who really cares right now? How does it affect today? Well, you know what? It just shows the track record of the Montreal Canadiens. And what did Scotty Bowman do? What did Scotty Bowman do since leaving the Habs? Because he wasn't going to be GM in Montreal. You know what? Well, let's see. He made the Detroit Red Wings one of the most powerful teams in the 1990s dynasty, won 3 cups. Pittsburgh Penguins, again, under his tutelage, won 2 cups. I mean, everywhere he went, this man created a dynasty. And guess what? Do the math. The Canadiens could have had 30 cups if they kept Scotty Bowman. So, moving on, I really don't want to talk about the little things that are wrong with the Habs. I don't want to talk about line changes. I don't want to talk about the coaching staff or the bad trades, the good trades. There's been a lot of those. It's just been a mess. What I really feel is the issue is the culture of the Habs. It's a political team. Everything's political in Quebec. You have to have a French-Canadian coach, a French-Canadian GM, and instead of hiring the best people for the job, they hired the best French-Canadian person for the job. What's wrong with hiring a translator to translate to the media if the coach can't speak French at the time they're hired? Because you could do that anytime. You have Google translators. You have a way for the media to communicate with the coach, even if they don't speak a language. I know French culture. I was born in Montreal. I understand the French culture is very important. I'm not discarding that. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be able to communicate with your team in French, but you have to understand that in anything in life, you need to hire the best people for the job. And if best person for the job is an English person or a Chinese speaking person or any other person who speaks any other language, if they could do the job and they are better for the job than the other person, then you hire that person for the job. And that is not what the Montreal Canadiens have been doing for years. They've been hiring people who have to speak French and English to communicate with the media. And it hasn't worked because all they've been doing is hiring people who are not qualified for the positions. Well, for example, let's go back again. Let's go into this time machine again. Let's go back this time to 1995. They hire a guy who has no GM experience when the Montreal Canadiens cleaned house after a brutal start, one of the worst starts in the Habs history at the time. They went 5 games without winning a single game. At the time, Patrick Roy was their number 1 goaltender. They had Jacques Demers in coach. He won a cup just 2 years earlier. Serge Savard was the GM. He had a lot of experience, over about 10 years of experience at the time. He built the team that won the cup in 1986 and 93, and they fired both of them. And who did they hire? They hired 2 people who spoke French but had absolutely zero experience in the positions that they were hired for. Régent Houle became the GM. He had zero experience. He hired his friend Mario Tremblay. Mario Tremblay had zero coaching experience. Of course, everyone knows the story where Mario Tremblay and Patrick Roy did not get along. He left Patrick Roy in net, 7 goals. He was steaming mad. He went to the bench, glared at Mario Tremblay, moved to his seat, got up and walked past Mario Tremblay, glaring at him still, looked at Ronald Corey, who was on the bench, who was the president of the team, and said, I played my last game in Montreal. And so that's what happened in 1995. Only in Montreal would that happen. Only in Montreal would they do something like that, hire 2 people that were not qualified, and did so because they spoke French, which was the most important thing, instead of hiring the best people for the job. And ironically, the best people for the job were already on the team at the time. Serge Savard and Jacques Demers both were French-speaking and English-speaking, and they were perfectly capable of leading a team past the losing streak that was 5 games and moving forward. But they panicked, of course, and they had to hire new people and appease the fan base, which, wanted change and vengeance. But, that's another story for another day, YouTube, and I will talk about it. Trust me, I have plenty to say on this topic. Look, all that matters is winning the Stanley Cup, and if they had a crystal ball saying they can win a Stanley Cup in the next 3 years with the best GM or the best coach who would just happen to be English and not speak French, would they do it? Would they want to win that cup? I would say no. I would say they would rather have a French-Canadian GM, and as long as they have a coach and a GM that speaks their language, then they're happy. And sorry, that's not the way it should be. Because I find that, ridiculous. Hire the best person for the job, regardless of language. And that is my opinion. Until they get over that, until they realize that, they're not going to win a cup. They are not going to be the best team in the league because they're always going to be hiring someone who's learning on the job. They're always going to hire someone who doesn't have as much experience as someone else because they can't hire that someone else because it happens to not be a French-speaking person. So that's the main issue. Everything else is secondary. Anyways, I don't really want to be so negative because I am excited about some of the stuff that's going on with this team. I love their prospect pool. There is a lot of young talent coming up in the next year. Ryan Poehling, Nick Suzuki this year has been amazing. They have Kotkaniemi, seems to be playing better of late. Cole Caulfield is an unbelievable talent. The guy is a natural goal scorer. I've never been more excited about a draft pick this year than Cole Caulfield. He's been exciting to watch. Hopefully he'll make the team next year, and he can be upwards of 40 to 50 goal scorer, and that is pretty exciting if you are a Habs fan. So I'll leave it on a positive note. Don't want to be all negative because that's not what my videos are about. I just want to talk about what I feel is going on and express myself, and I have that opportunity. Well, that's all for now, YouTube. That's my podcast for today. I hope you liked it. So leave a comment below on what you feel about the Habs. I will have some more videos for you in the weeks, months, and years to come. Take care, YouTube. This is RL. Bye for now.